Alright, so the first section on the practice test says to write each ratio in simplest form, then write it in the other two notations. This is exactly how your test will start tomorrow. A lot of you don't read directions. Make sure you read the directions tomorrow, because if you don't write it in the two other notations, you are not going to get a significant amount of the points for those problems, okay? Number 1, 7 goes into 14 and 21, so you can divide both numbers by 7, or you can just use the ABC button in your calculator and do it for you. 14 divided by 7 is 2. And 21 divided by 7 is 3. So our ratio is 2 to 3 baseballs, basketballs. But I'm only halfway done because we have to write it in the other two notations as well. So I will write it as a fraction. And I will write it with the word 2. Alright, all three of those need to be present tomorrow if you want full credit. Any questions? The next one, when you go to reduce, you can divide both numbers by 2, so that's 3 blue to 2 red. There is a slight issue on this one. If you're using a calculator, it will give you a mixed number, 1 1/2. A mixed number is made up of 3 numbers. 1, 2, 3. A ratio is a comparison of 2 numbers. So mixed numbers are not allowed. You have to change it to an improper fraction. Like that in the calculator. The way you do that is you hit the second button and then the ABC button again. So if you give me 1 1/2 on something like this, I will mark it wrong. That is incorrect. A ratio cannot have 3 numbers. A ratio is a comparison of 2 numbers by definition. So you need to make it improper. Then write it in the current form. So I use the word 2. Now I can write it in the 2 other forms. So I'll write it as a fraction. And with the colon. Any questions on the first 2? Alright, number 3 says Brian made 10 shots and missed 4 shots at last night's basketball game. Write the ratio of shots Brian made. So we want made on top. Total shots on the bottom. How many shots did he make? 10. How many shots did he take total? 14. How'd you get 14? You added. If he made 10 and he missed 4, that means he stood up and shot the ball 14 times, right? It either goes in or it doesn't go in. So 10 over 14. Now you can reduce this. Just type it in your calculator using the ABC button, hit the equal sign. You get 5 made over 7 total shots. So the ratio of shots made to the number of shots taken is 5 to 7. Raise your hand if you have any questions on the first 3. Alright, next section we are cross multiplying. So you need to multiply 4 and 18 first. 4 times 18 is 72. Equals, when you multiply this way, you get 6x. To get x by itself, we'll divide both sides by the 6, so x equals 12. What are your questions? Number 5, same thing, cross multiply, so we get 3x equals, going this way we get 48. Divide both sides by 3 to get the x by itself. And that gives you 16. Questions on the proportions, the cross multiplying. Alright, next section. We are going from fraction to decimal first. There's 2 ways to approach this problem. You can type it in as a fraction using the ABC button and hit the second F arrow D that goes back and forth on your calculator to fraction and decimal. Honestly, on this one, I just type it in as a division problem. 1 divided by 5 is 0.2. Move the decimal 2 places to the right to make a percent. You have to add that placeholder on the end of a 0 and you get 20%. Same process in reverse. We have the decimal at the end of the 40. You move it left 2 places. Now we have 0.4. As a fraction, that's 4/10. And if you want to reduce, 2/5. Again, there's 2 ways to approach this one. You can put 0.4 in your calculator, do the F arrow D. It'll go back and forth between the fraction and the decimal for you. Or you can see that this is the tenths place, so write 4/10 and reduce it to 2/5. So now we're starting with the middle one. So to go over here, you can either use the second, and then it says PRB, and then underneath it says F arrow D. That's the button you're looking for. That will give you the mixed number 1 7/10. Or you can do it by hand and see that this number goes out to the tenths place. So you drop the decimal and you put it over 10. That works too. Either one of those is a fine answer. It just depends on your approach. By hand you would get this. By calculator you would get this. They're equivalent. When you're going to a percent, you move the decimal to the right 2 places. You have to add that placeholder of a 0. Alright, we're getting into percent word problems. The key here is over of equals percent over 100, or part over whole equals percent over 100. Here the is and the of should work just fine. What is 15% of 60? So 60 is my of. What is my is? When you don't know something in algebra class, you use an X, or any type of letter would be fine. Cross multiply here, we get 100x equals 60 times 15 is 900. And you're going to divide both sides by 100 to get the x by itself, and x equals 9. Alright, number 8, we start with the same setup. 15 is, so that's going to go in the is spot. 40%, so that goes over the 100, of what number? So the of is where my variable goes. Cross multiply, you get 1500 equals 40x. Divide both sides by 40. And I'm getting that x equals 37.5. Raise your hands if you have any questions on the front. And we are looking for how much money did he save. How much money did he save is like asking what was the discount. The discount is the money that was saved. Alright? So the original price goes on the bottom. The percent of the discount goes on the top of the 100. We're looking, I'm going to use a D just to remind myself that that answer will give me the discount amount. Cross multiply, we get 100D equals 45 times 20 is 900. Divide by 100, and you get that the discount equals 9. We're talking about money, so $9. Now go back and review. They're asking me what he saved. That's the same thing as asking you what the discount is. So this is the answer. On this next one, we're going to have to take it a step further, so it'll be a little bit more challenging. On this one, we're talking about Best Buy that's running a sale for 20% off. How much would a $900 TV cost? So again, cross multiply, you get 100D equals 18,000. But when you divide by 100, you're basically just chopping 2 of those zeros off. So the discount amount here is going to be $180. Is that what the question asked me to find? No, they asked me for the cost. So to find the cost, I have to start with that $900 original price, take the discount off of it, and now the TV costs $720. Not sure of the size of that TV. What are your questions? I'm going to leave discounts up there for just a second, then I'm going to do both of the sales tax ones on the same screen. So these are going to go away soon, so make sure you're getting them down. Now I'm talking about sales tax. So I'm going to use a T just to remind myself that this isn't the same thing as discount. I do a little bit different math at the end of the problem. So on number 11, how much sales tax would be charged for a $15 shirt if there is a 6% sales tax? So 6 goes over the 100. The original price is 15. T stands for tax. Cross multiply, we have 100T equals, what's 15 times 6? 90. Very good. Divide both sides by that 100. And you should get that the tax is 0.9 when you're talking about money. That's 90 cents. Is that my answer? Yeah, the question says how much sales tax. This answer represents the amount of sales tax. So I am done. Questions on that one? Next one. Same sort of setup at the beginning. How much would you pay for a movie that is $12 if there is a 7.1% sales tax? So 7.1 is my percent. $12 is my original. My T goes right there. T for tax. Cross multiply, you get 100T equals, anyone know 12 times 7.1? 85.2, thank you. When you divide both sides by 100, you get that the sales tax is 0.852. When we're talking about money, how many decimals do we care about? We only care about 2 numbers after the decimal place. So I'm going to get rid of that 2. If it would have been 5 or above, I would have changed this to a 6. But since it was just a 2, I'm just going to drop it off on the end. It doesn't change the number in front of it. So round to the nearest cent, because we're talking about money. That's the hundredths place. Then I'm going to add that to the price because I want to know how much I'm going to pay after sales tax. So start with the original, add the sales tax, that gives you the total. That's going to be the hardest part, I believe, in this section, is deciding what you're looking for. I try to help you out as much as I can by underlining things like how much would you pay, or what would the cost be, or what is the amount saved, or what is the sales tax. So make sure you're looking back at the problems to see exactly what you're supposed to be giving for an answer. Do you all understand why we added on 12 but not on 11? Anyone want me to explain it again? No? All right. So we are drawing a marble out of the bag shown. Find the following. What's the probability of picking a white marble? So on the top, we want the number of ways you could pick white. How many whites are there? 4. On the bottom is the number of total options for choosing marbles. How many marbles are there? 10. And you need to reduce when you're talking about probability if it's possible. So just type it in your calculator with the ABC button. If it reduces, great. If it doesn't, leave it alone. Alright, this one's a step up. What's the probability of not picking a black marble? So I'm going to count all the ones that are not black. And when I say black, I mean solid black. So still count the stripy ones. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. How many total marbles? 10, so 3 over 10. That's the probability of not picking black. And then which marble are you least likely to pick? The striped marbles are the least likely. Good. Striped. If you didn't say striped, if you said like swirled or black and white mix or something like that, I'll know what you're talking about, okay? Zebra stripe sounds good. Alright, so again, that is like a mini version of tomorrow's test. So expect it to be about twice as long, but equally as hard as that one. Any questions?